Hello and welcome to this week's episode. In our software reviews, we're having Shadowhander for the Amstrad CPC and Avalan for Commodore 64, two amazing games. In our hardware, we are presenting the SD to IEC, a special cartridge adapter for the Commodore 16. In our history lesson, we see the relation between the creation of Macintosh and the Xerox Palo Alto Park facility. Finally, in our DOS Vault, we are re-reviewing Raptor, The Call of Shadows, the amazing classic shoot 'em up for the MS-DOS, and Anzu Castle Gragula, a new DOS platform game that is a tribute to the Castlevania. So let's start another amazing episode for the love of retro. Hello and welcome to our software review. This week we begin with the Shadowhander by Macintosh, an Amstrad CPC game. It's an action platformer where you have to entrap all the ghosts with your beam so as to activate the trap and move on to the next round. Now the graphics are quite good, considering this is a CPC game, which, as you know, has beautiful colors, but most of the times the graphics are a bit pixelated. Also, the movement and the animation is very good. There's no Spectrum's little brother syndrome here. The graphics actually are also quite funny. Obviously, the game is a tribute to the Ghostbusters movie. It's pretty simple in its controls. You get to walk left and right, jump up the platforms, fire your beam weapon. When you touch levers, they switch to on and off, opening gates. Later on in the game, there are environmental hazards like blades and lava. The game, like I said, is very cute, very easy to control. It's not a hard game. Don't mind me playing it here. It's also a very good effort for the ZX Spectrum. Macintosh is known for his quality games, for their quality games. The controls are very simple. The music is fun, even though repetitive. It doesn't get annoying. The special effects, the sound effects are good, and there is a big variety of ghosts and goblins to face. I definitely recommend the game. It's very fun and an excellent addition to the Amstrad CPC library. And with that said, let us move on to our next game of the week, a game for Commodore 64. Now this is Avalan for the Commodore 64 by Cytronic Software and Icon 64, one of the power teams, I believe, in the Commodore 64 homebrew software development. Now this game resembles a lot another famous game of the ZX Spectrum era. You all know what I'm talking about, which one. But it has special additions of its own. Now, you are a lady knight, and you are to save the island from the unholy monk, an evil monk that has taken over the island of Avalan. Now you must assemble all the pieces of the great master sword Excalibur. Yeah, I know. It's a real fun concept, and you get to walk around the areas collecting pieces of the Excalibur. The game is huge, actually. You get to collect 44 pieces in a 256 screen map. There is a map to help you with the places you visited that unfolds and unlocks as you move along. Your character is initially unarmed, but you get to trick sometimes knights into throwing their sword at you. These knights, the purple ones, will not attack you, but will stand in your way. If you touch them, you die, quite simply. The other knights that we saw, the pale knights, will throw their sword at you if you get close to them, and if you're fast enough and dodge it, you get to collect it and attack them. By the way, when they throw this sword at you, they become blue knights, meaning that they are quite harmless from that point on unless you touch them. The music is excellent, the animation is very good. I especially like the animation of the knights, who seem to be threatening you. There's the map. Quite simple and functional. They seem to be threatening you or the air around them. The environment is beautiful. The game is simple in its conception, but it's extremely addictive. It's a very good game. The graphics are wonderful, quite simply. Commodore 64 is known for his blocky graphics, but that's not the case here. Everything looks amazing. Easy to control, addictive gameplay, wonderful graphics, wonderful sound. I can't recommend this game enough. The Cytronic Software and the Icon 64 team are known for their extremely high quality games, and this is another one. I truly recommend this game. You will not be disappointed. I believe it's one of the gems. And with that said, we're moving on to our next section. Hello and welcome to this week's hardware review. And boy, do I have something really cool for you this week. This week we have the SD to IEC. It's a device for your Commodore 64, Commodore 128, or, and that's what makes it pretty precious, your Commodore 16. And it's not very often we see devices for the Commodore 16. And that's a pity. Now it's a cheap and wonderful device that can be used in multiple ways, as you can see. It functions like an additional disk drive or external tape recorder. It connects directly to the serial port or to the expansion port, in our case. Now you can see that. We can use it in the serial port. There's also the expansion, but it's not compatible in the Commodore 16 case. But we're gonna use this one. You plug it in there, and it's good to go, almost. The device does require a USB power supply, and it has the SD card here, which we will put our ROMs. There is a certain configuration that you need to do. There are pins here to define the disk drive if you use it as a disk drive. In our case, we will use it as a replacement for our tape recorder. So there's no need for that, only the USB power. It's very well built. It looks like an industrial product when you take it in your hands. And the engraving of the letters is wonderful. It's a very solid build device. Usually, you know, these devices from the community or small shops are not that sturdy, let's say. It comes from Bits Retro. It's, I don't know, I was very impressed with the quality of construction in this device. Let's go see how it works. Now, when you first boot the SD to IC device, you are greeted with the ready prompt. I must mention here that my Commodore 16 is an enhanced machine with GFI-DOS installed and memory expansion. So your startup screen should be different. So the first thing to do is type in the command load FB16 in our case, comma 8, and press enter. Now what this does is loads the appropriate file browser and detects your machine. Now afterwards we type run, and this is it. This is the structure of our SD card. Now the device is compatible with Commodore 64, 64C, 128, 128D, VIC-20, Commodore 16 obviously, 116, +4 and SX64. But the file types that it supports is the D64, D71, D81, PRG and POO. It is not compatible with the TAP files. Also, it works obviously with GFI-DOS, Exos, Geos, and the Turbo Disk and fast loaders. Now, all you have to do here is use the arrows. Of course, because of the limitations of the machine, as you can see, the list scrolls up. There we go. We wait a short bit after pressing enter. If you have a big list of games, I would suggest to divide them alphabetically. Now, let's go to any game, well, a random one, and press return, and pretty much this is it. There you go. Well, I have no idea what I've run there, but now if you reset the machine, there you go, you're back where you started. Now, the machine is very easy to use, as you can see. There is not much hassle, no, not much problem. With the same device, with the same command, you can go back. Also, I must note that, I'm sorry, FB16 8 run, and that's it. You should type FB64 if your machine is a Commodore 64. Now, there is the ability to switch disks for multi-disk programs, but you must create an auto-swap file on your own in the same folder with the multiple disks that you wish to switch from. I don't know, let's choose another one. Of course, left-right works as spades down, as usual. I'm trying to load something a bit more fancy here. There are buttons on the device that will help you switch disks in the aforementioned case, and this is it. Once again, all you have to do is press enter and the game loads. Now, if you're loading a D64 file, oh dear, these amazing sounds. Not sure how to play this. And the game is horrible music-wise. Oh, there you go. I got to shoot. Now, when all is said and done, this is a wonderful, wonderful little device. It's very easy to use. It's of high quality, it's very cheap, and because, like I said at the beginning of this review, Commodore 64 does not get a lot of modern gadgets, I believe this is essential, even if you use it occasionally. It also works with the other Commodore machines, like I said, so it truly pays up for itself, let's say. It has a big thumbs up from me. I definitely recommend it, and I hope to see you again next week in another hardware review. See ya! Hello and welcome to this week's MS-DOS Vault reviews. We begin with Raptor, Call of the Shadows, a game by Apogee Software and developed by Cygnus Studios. It's a classic game released back in 1994 for the MS-DOS, of course, although it was also re-released for the Mac OS in 2011. Now, this is one of the best, if not the best, shoot-em-ups for the PC. A platform that, to be honest, never had that many shoot-em-ups. Now we have this central menu where we can save our pilot and go into the supply room. It's a store of sorts to buy upgrades and weapons. We can choose which round to play, or we can go with the autopilot that will guide us through each and every stage and every episode in order. Now initially our StarCraft is a bit of a letdown. It's under-equipped, although it does have a significant energy bar that I doubled. I do suggest you buy an extra energy bar. Now these stars provide us with cash, so whenever you see one of these aircrafts trying to attack you, I suggest destroying it, no matter the cost. Also, you have the ability to blow up the scenery below you. It will also raise your cash score. As you can see in the upper side of the screen, for every kill or destruction you achieve, the dollars sign gets raised. So it's not just the score, but the coins you need in order to buy new weapons and upgrades. The game also, as you can see here, provides you with weapon upgrades or new weapons in-game. Now these aircrafts, as I said, provide you with these stars. They're pretty important to try to destroy them, even if sometimes you might have to crush on them. These ships that provide you these bonuses change shapes at a later time in other stages. Like I said, also always try to destroy the scenery. It provides you with a significant bonus. Now, along with these upgrades, there's also the classic super bomb that many, if not all, shoot 'em ups used to have back in the day. We'll see it later. The graphics are very well made. The animation, the colors, the variety of the stages. Now this is the first episode and the first stage. In general, the first episode does not have that much variety. It's like getting ready for the actual show kind of thing. There also, I must say that if you choose to play the training stage, you don't get to play the full game. Now let's buy this and this. The energy module, like I said, gives you extra energy. And the radar shows you the energy bar of the bosses when you get to meet one. How much energy they have, how much is left. The game is very simple to control. You can play with a keyboard. I play with a keyboard here. You can use a joystick or you can use the mouse. I did not find the mouse that convenient, to be honest, but this is a personal preference. Some people enjoy playing these kind of games with the mouse. Now, like I said, the radar upgrade there, see, at the bottom of the screen shows you the bar, the energy bar of the enemy. Now this is a big boss fight. I'm still relatively under-equipped. So, to show you a bit more later in the game, this is the Mega Bomb. This is a different kind of missiles. They're air-to-air and ground-to-air missiles. There is a big variety of upgrades and weapons to choose from. Some may seem excessively expensive to you at the beginning, but trust me, your score will rise rapidly. I will buy the plasma cannon here and the ion scanner and another energy modules. Always make sure to save often and to have a full energy bar before you go into battle. If you don't have enough money to have a full bar, at least have it maxed out as much as you can. Now the difficulty of the stages is gradually rising. Now these are the new ships that provide you with bonuses there. Like I said, the shape and form of the ships will change, although in my experience, and if I recall correctly, having finished the game a few years back, the original form still appears in almost every stage. Now these little barrels here always hide a bonus. Now this is the air-to-ground missile. When you switch to that, it's very easy by pressing a button to switch between secondary weapons. You get to hit the ground targets and create massive damage. Then you switch back to the air-to-air missiles in order to hit the majority of the enemies. Although, as you will see, there are many turrets and other ground dangers. But I believe the air-to-ground missile is an essential weapon, not only to accumulate a big score and be able to buy more stuff, but to be able to eliminate side threats that come usually from the ground. Now the music is very good. It's kind of repetitive, but because it's good, it doesn't really bother you. The sound effects are very, very good. The controls, like I said, are stiff and easy to handle. You actually have the movement buttons, the fire button. There's another big bad guy here. Let's just try to get rid of him. There you go. Now, like I said, the fire button, the secondary button that you can switch to the secondary weapon, switch in between secondary weapons that you might have. There is also the mega bomb button that you get to throw a mega bomb. Now this upgrade I just bought is the shield. The shield actually provides you a secondary energy bar in the form of a shield. I do suggest you always buy that one too. It's like having two energy bars. As you can see, it makes your life a lot easier, because the game does get tougher as you move on. The enemies do not follow after a while so predetermined path as initially. Now I do believe that's not a rumor, that's an assumption on my behalf, that the name of the game, Call of Shadows, also refers to the fact that you can predict where the enemies are coming from thanks to their shadows that are casted. I use it all the time to predict where they're coming from. Now here's a chance to see a more fully armed craft. Like I said, the game is excellent. I definitely suggest it. That's a mega bomb. And let's move on to our next game. Now our next game is called Anzu Castle Gragula. It's a game by Rainbow Cemetery. It's, well, quite obviously a tribute to the Castlevania games, especially the early ones. The graphics are beautiful in their retro style. The controls are easy, and as you can see at the initiate screen, you can rearrange them. There is a jump button, there is a hit button, and one that activates your magic weapon. That, just in classic, typical Castlevania style, you have to have hearts that you get from candles and enemies in order to use them. The controls are very good. The game does follow the Castlevania gameplay to the letter, and when I say to the letter, difficulty included. The game is tough, but if you are a Castlevania fan, it's what you expect. The collision detection is very good. I would go as far as to say it's excellent. There is a variety of enemies. There. Now the music, the sound effects, everything gives that retro vibe that you'd expect from a game like this. It's very well made. It's made with love, it's obvious. The game, if I'm not mistaken, is made in Quick Basic, which is quite an accomplishment. I do suggest you give it a go if you are a Castlevania fan, especially. It's well designed. Oh. I know it's a tough game, but remember that it's also a tribute to a game that was one of the toughest games of their era. Now, graphics, animation, sound, everything is in the spirit of the classic games. I do suggest you give it a go, because not only it's a good tribute, but it's a tribute to the classic Castlevania, the early Castlevania games, and we don't get that often. Most of the times we get that Metroidvania kind of game. Like I said, it's made by Rainbow Cemetery, and I do believe you're gonna have a lot of fun with it. And without no further ado, we'll move on to our next section. Hello and welcome to this week's history lesson. Now this week we are going to talk about one of the most enduring legends or historical anecdotes in the area of the computers. We're talking about the creation of Macintosh, its graphical user interface, its mouse use, and, well, the rise to fame of Apple beyond the Apple I and II computers. Now, it is said that back in 1979, Steve Jobs, along with a group of engineers and executives, visited Xerox Palo Alto Park facility. Now, the park is meant as a Palo Alto Research Center. It is the place where Xerox developed various new technologies. Now, among them was a new kind of computer with a vertical screen that implemented a graphical user interface, something unheard of at the time, that would make away with the classical prompt and the input of complicated commands, allowing a simple user to use the computer to their own comfort. Now, the mouse was also a new device that has not been used yet. There wasn't, of course, the original mouse, but a more refined creation by Xerox. Now, legend has it that Steve Jobs saw all that stuff, stole a number of ideas, especially the graphical user interface, and bought a number of other ideas, like the mouse. Of course, the Xerox executives did not realize they were holding the future in their hands, obviously, because legend has it that Steve Jobs paid as little as $10,000 for the rights to use some of those inventions. Of course, as we all know, these inventions were transferred to the Macintosh system, not just the machine, but the operating system as well. That led to the pivotal moment of the presentation of the Macintosh computer in that famous shareholders presentation, and the Hello World message that wowed the world at the time, even though Macintosh did not sell that good at the beginning. Of course, all these inventions were initially implemented on the LISA computer, but that is another story. So, what do you think? Did Steve Jobs steal all these inventions, or is it just another legend of the informatics? Join us next week for another interesting history lesson. See ya! Well, that's it. We'll be waiting for you next week. Bye!